Right-wing Federalist Judge Wilkinson, you have your answer from the Trump administration. You called on them yesterday to appeal to their higher angels, their better angels, to make the right decision, to show that they believe in the rule of law. And we got the Trump administration's response on the White House official social media posting, obviously tapped out by one Stephen Miller, which said in a taunting fashion, using a red pen on a New York Times headline, basically saying, you're never getting Abrego Garcia back. We don't respect the rule of law. He's gone and gone forever. Love and kisses, the Trump administration. That's the president that people voted for. Never forget it. That perverse call and response is the subject of my legal AF hot take. Let's go into it. Just yesterday, Judge Wilkinson, a conservative, a lion of the Federalist movement, appointed by Ronald Reagan, who served in the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, who wrote books, he's a constitutional scholar, about judicial restraint, about don't have judicial activism, about judicial humility. He wrote the following words, obviously heard by Donald Trump, to which he's now responded by starting a food fight while the teacher's back was turned. Yesterday on page 6, Judge Wilkinson, writing for a 3-judge majority, 3-0, for the Fourth Circuit, affirming for the second time Judge Zinnis's way that she's handling the administration of due process and constitutional rights in her courtroom about a guy named Armando Abrego Garcia, but it goes beyond Armando Abrego Garcia. It goes to the heart of our constitutional republic. And when the Trump administration ran off to the Fourth Circuit because they didn't like Judge Zinnis's order requiring them to submit to written questions under oath, sworn under oath, deposition questions, sworn under oath, to get to the bottom of whether they are in contempt for their refusal. Obvious refusal. Look at the posting in the White House social media page. Obvious refusal, knowing that they have to comply and refusing to comply with the order, the command of the United States Supreme Court that they, the Trump administration, for us in our democracy, facilitate the release of Armando Abrego Garcia from that jail in El Salvador. It must not be that hard. They found a way to open the door and let him meet with Senator Van Hollen. If they can give him a Starbucks, they can get him on a plane and bring him back to America. But Donald Trump doesn't want to because he's picked this as his battle. It's a losing battle, but it's a losing battle for us in America. It makes everybody less better off. It diminishes our constitutional republic. It diminishes our judiciary. It diminishes our presidency, and it diminishes our constitutional republic. Here's the call and response, right, that just happened. Let's do a split screen. On the left, what Judge Wilkinson said so powerfully with soaring rhetoric yesterday in his withering criticism of a fellow Republican in the presidency, the felon-in-chief Donald Trump. Here's what he said on page 6. It is, as we have noted, all too possible to see in this case, the Armando Abrego Garcia case, an incipient crisis, but it may present an opportunity as well. Look at the optimism that this constitutional scholar and a member of Mount Rushmore for the Federalist Society still holds. We yet cling to the hope, here we are, here's the hopium, that it is not naive to believe our good brethren in the executive branch perceive the rule of law. See, Wilkinson's from an old-timey time. He's from another time. You know, he's a gentleman scholar lawyer. He appeals to the good brethren in the executive branch, and he wants them to perceive the rule of law as vital to the American ethos. This case presents their unique chance in the Trump White House to vindicate that value and to summon the best that is within us while there is still time. You got your answer, Judge Wilkinson. Boom, split screen. This is what they posted on the social media for the official whitehouse.gov. Your taxpayer dollar is hard at work. The henchman behind it, no doubt in my mind that it is one Stephen Miller. He's the architect of everything related to Donald Trump and immigration. He believes in America first. He believes in America's for Americans only. He said it out loud. He's the one that devised the plan, the devious plan, to put children in cages and separate them at the border from their parents. He's the one, along with, I think, Christy Nome, but Stephen Miller, who came up with the Alien Enemies Act and declaring a war of an incursion, of a predatory incursion incursion of enemy combatants that need to be captured because we're at war with Venezuela. News to Venezuela, news to Congress, apparently, who haven't declared war. That's out of the fevered mind of Stephen Miller. But I'm not letting Donald Trump off the hook. Even though Stephen Miller is effectively the co-president for everything domestic policy, Donald Trump needs people to do his job for him for many reasons. One, soggy brain. Soggy brain. Criminally bankrupt brain. Exhausted. Morally, emotionally, intellectually exhausted brain. No executive function in the executive branch, if you know what I'm talking about. The White House elevator doesn't go all the way up to the top rung. That's one. Two, he needs time. He needs time to play golf every weekend to the tune of $40 million of taxpayer dollars. He needs time to go to instant gratification adulation events like MMA fighting and Super Bowls and wrestling and NASCAR. Right? He has to do all of that. So he needs people to do his job for him. So he's delegated to Robert Kennedy Jr. the job of destroying our public health and everything related to it, which is about a half of our economy. He's delegated to Stephen Miller everything related to immigration and even trade policy. He's delegated to Elon Musk and Howard Lutnick and Steve Bissett our tariff policy and our global economy policy, leaving him plenty of time to do what? Approve social media postings like this. This is the equivalent of Judge Wilkinson, again, if you were chiseling a new Mount Rushmore of Federalist Society thinkers, conservatives, respected by both sides of the aisle, it would be Judge Wilkinson, Harvey Wilkinson, 80 years old, been serving on that bench since 1984. He was the chief judge. He wrote a book when he was 25 after clerking on the United States Supreme Court. Not Judge Wilkinson. It's one thing for the bro podcasters to start thinking, well, maybe we shouldn't have supported him. It's one thing for Joe Rogan to say, he's gone too far. Why did I support him? It's another thing for Wall Street to say, why did I write a check for this guy? He's wrecking the economy. Or the big oil companies saying the same thing. Or the cannabis companies or the crypto companies. It's one thing for the voters who are MAGA saying, he's destroying my business. I didn't vote for a trade war. I didn't vote for sending people, including U.S. citizens, potentially off to foreign prisons. Forget that. He's lost Wilkinson. And look how he responds. While Wilkinson is writing on the blackboard about, please, good brethren, perceive the rule of law and use this as an opportunity to vindicate that value, he gets hit in the back of the head with a pizza, with a chair, with a cabbage, with corn, with garbage thrown by Stephen Miller and Donald Trump and Pam Bondi giggling in the back of the room. That's the disrespect that Donald Trump has for us as Americans, for our Constitution. And forget it, the Constitution is not a crisis. Talk about underselling the moment. We're at war. We're at war to protect the Constitution on this side. We here, legal AFers, Midas Mighty, we are the foot soldiers to protect the Constitution every way that we know how. Me, the way I'm doing my commentating on a regular basis here on Legal AF. You, being regularly informed through Midas Touch and Legal AF. Coming here and joining in community, joining in fellowship and friendship together, speaking truth to each other. I mean, I knew there'd be a response, and I said on a prior hot take, well, they're not going to be able to let's try it again. They won't be able to go after Wilkinson because he's unassailable. He's not a leftist. He's not a Marxist. He's not an activist. Quite to the contrary. He's a rock-ribbed Republican, Reagan Republican, who would be turning in his grave, by the way. By the way, Donald Trump shits all over the institution of the presidency. So I said, well, this is going to be interesting. How are they going to do that one? He's the opposite of an activist judge. He wrote a book called Cosmic Constitutional Theory, in which he posited that judges need to be they have to have humility and be humble, that they can't impose their ideology, that they have to just call balls and strikes and do interpretation of the law as it exists or for its natural extension. That's what he wrote. He's not an activist. He's the opposite. But he's not going to look the other way. He's now, along with the Fourth Circuit, has supported Judge Zinnes twice. Supreme Court has supported Judge Zinnes. Judge Zinnes is right. Donald Trump is wrong. It's black and it's white. Period. So I said, how are they going to attack Wilkinson? That's how they did it. They taunted the rest of us. A doormat is given more respect than Donald Trump shows to the United States Constitution. And this was his way to nail Van Hollen, the senator who went on a fool's errand. Donald Trump's quote, he looks foolish in meeting with Abrego Garcia down in El Salvador. Cory Booker, fast on the heels of that, will be heading down there himself. He taunts Van Hollen. Fake news. You're just looking for somebody to cover it. No, he's defending the Constitution as the foot soldier for the Constitution. So he taunts that. He taunts Wilkinson. Higher angels, best within us. This is the best. Think of it this way. Wilkinson just said, Trump, show us the best within you in the executive branch, the best that is within us while there's still time. Instant response, this is the best I got. I am a child. I am baby boss, except I'm the president of the United States. And that's a problem. And everybody around him in the cabinet, I'm looking at you, Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary, Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, Pam Bondi, Department of Justice, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, and the list goes on. You have the power under the 25th Amendment to sideline this clown, this felon, this morally and criminally bankrupt person, and get them out of our lives and put the rest of us out of our misery, put the rest of us out of his misery by invoking the 25th Amendment. That's what you need to do. Let's be fair and frank. If the Democrats had control of the House and the Senate, we'd have an impeachment, multiply impeached president for the third time, and he'd be convicted and thrown out, which is your incentive to do the right thing at the midterms and make him the lamest of lame duck presidents. I'll continue to follow it right here. While you're here, while I have your attention, hit the subscribe button. It's a plea. We need to get to 1 million subscribers. We're running at about 70 or 80,000 subscribers a month. We're going to get there with your help before our first anniversary. We just crossed 550 for the weekend. That's all on you. That's the fellowship. That's the community that we've built here together. I do my part. I curate the channel. I bring on some amazing contributors. You do your part by being in the audience and hitting the subscribe button and helping the Legal AF podcast continue its march up the chart to join the Brothers podcast in the first 2 slots. And we got a lot of bro podcasts we got to pass along the way with your help. Legal AF the podcast, Legal AF the YouTube channel. It's not a broken record. It's serious. This is no time to flinch. This is time for us to get closer and pull closer together and not apart. Until my next report, I'm Michael Popak. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.